Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Softline. I am Nancy Banigo, and as usual today on a Monday, I have the beautiful Edith Young Eyang added. Even she's surprised. That look, Eddie, what's the look for?
Hello everyone, how are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
It's Softline on ADBN TV. Trust us, we are your way today for another interesting and exciting topic. I'm sure you won't want to miss this. Stay and don't touch that dial.
Oh, okay. Touch that down. All right, so what was that look for? Because
What
I
look
added
are
the
you talking
beautiful.
about? Well,
Oh.
it's a compliment. Thank you, Nancy.
That's what you should say.
You look
I mean,
smashing too. Blue looks good on you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. These days, going through the dailies, I don't know. We can't go one day through the dailies without hearing boyfriend killed girlfriend, wife killed husband. The one I saw today was, I think, a guy who they said is a pastor. They found with a bag. And inside that bag is his girlfriend's head, severed.
A pastor?
They said he's a pastor.
He's not married?
No, I don't think so, for him to have a girlfriend. Now, the point is, we've been having this kind of stories for the past 5 days. Each time I hear the dailies, newspaper review and all that, there's always story of, okay, wife stab husband to death,
I think there was a period when it was very common. So maybe
and then it stopped, kind of, until it's back.
Yeah, because life goes and comes. There's nothing that's really new in life. Whatever is happening now has happened before.
Yeah.
So you find out that it happens, you go past it, and then it resurfaces. So, but why is it resurfacing is what
That's
we
the
should
question.
find out here.
That's the question. What actually happened this period where we didn't have such news? Is it that the media was not reporting it? Or it was actually not happening?
It wasn't alarming or something. Yeah, I think that's actually a research work, but then it's not something we should wake up to listen to. It's not a good news at all to be hearing. Losing of lives, it's not, I mean, you even taking a life, I don't know. People, sometimes I ask myself, what provocation would make you take someone's life? Except maybe it's an accident, sickness, or I don't even know what situation could make it happen.
When you say accident, like it's okay, it's a mistake.
No, accident like normal accident, road accident, domestic accident. Like we saw a gas explosion, a video of a viral gas explosion or something that claimed the lives of, it affected almost every member of the family.
No, what I was trying to say is when you say accident, I saw a viral video of a lady, I think she was intoxicated or something. She appeared kind of drunk, She was with a knife and she was stabbing her husband. But the good thing is that the husband was holding a pillow. So the stabs were into the, they were going into the pillow and all that. And she didn't seem worried or, she was just doing this thing and doing this thing. Now, supposing this man just drops this pillow or the fight gets to a point where this man decides to collect the knife from her and stabs. And then we'll have another case of...
yeah, as you were talking, what crossed my mind in that case, you said you saw her, she seemed intoxicated. So probably she could have had a mental problem. There are people like that. So you could give excuses to people with such cases, mental case that, probably suddenly just occurs, and that's what they do. They get very aggressive and violent. But then one has to actually... if it's for emotional breakdown and then you're getting intoxicated, you induce yourself, and then you go to stab, it's a no-no.
It's a no-no. It's a no-no.
It's not something anybody should.
I think people should learn to control emotions. We get carried away with our emotions. That is why we have high rates of jungle justice in this part of the world. When we hear something happen, we tend to
impulse
bring
action,
everything, we transfer people that have not eaten for days. If they've seen opportunity to show their muscles. Everybody just wants to
in some of those cases, the innocent people, by the time you go make your findings, you realize that you just killed an innocent
soul.
That's
what I'm saying. But if we learn to control our temper, even if this person was actually guilty, but we didn't kill. We controlled it. You know, we don't hit, because by the time you begin to hit,
ways of now,
take
even
the
if
person to
even
the
if
police
the person
or
you
something.
need to kill the person, let there be a due process. Let there be an investigation.
Exactly.
Let there be a confirmed evidence, and
But
then
the
this
thing is,
person
people do not even want to listen. Once they just say, "Oh, he stole something," everybody has picked up stones. You know, like they've not stolen. Nobody has stolen anything in their entire life. They just want to, you know. I don't know. We need to learn to control our anger. Just like that video I was telling you about. You see the way the woman was, stabbing into the pillow. Obviously, she's angry. This is not just about being drunk. You know, you can be drunk and you can be doing silly things, but using a knife, something must have prompted that. So what I'm saying is, people should learn to control emotions. We allow our emotions take over our being all the time. Yeah, it's not fair.
We should be in charge of
somebody just coming up to somebody, okay, something happened, the next thing you slap, even before you think, you've already acted.
And that takes me to those viral broadcasts about the new year, what to do in 2025. Take a walk. I don't know if you have seen that.
Take a walk.
Walk away from toxic people. Yeah. Walk away from things that will get you angry. Walk away from whatever you feel it's making you fine and okay. Walk away from unhealthy relationships. Walk away from even your work.
If it becomes toxic,
yeah, you walk away. If you feel, yeah, I'm earning from here, but then walk away. Just take a walk. I think that's it for 2025.
I tell you.
And I key into it.
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
Hold on to it.
I'm taking a walk out of everything
that is going to make your emotion unstable.
That's it.
All right, we'll go on a very short break before Eddie gets emotional this afternoon. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Step into the heartbeat of the world, where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Now here's some exciting news. ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social media and streaming platforms for exclusive news updates, captivating stories, and more. Join the ADBN community today via our various platforms on Avo TV app, ADBN channel 121, Niger TV app, ADBN TV, Limex World TV app, ADBN TV. Get the latest news straight to your phone. Join our WhatsApp channel. Just search for ADBN TV and hit the follow button. Turn on your notification to stay updated and never miss any part of the experience. Stay in the conversation with us across our social media handles on X at ADBN_TV, Instagram at ADBN_TV, Facebook ADBN TV, YouTube ADBN TV_NG, and keep visiting our website on www.adbntv.com. Watch us live anytime, anywhere. ADBN TV, a part of you.
All right, welcome to the conversation that can change your relationship. Today, we're exploring the crucial topic of financial communication and expectations in relationship. Money matters can often be a source of stress, tension, conflict. But what if you could transform your financial conversation into opportunities for growth, trust, and intimacy? Joining us via Zoom is Dr. Doubra Timi-Wood, widely known as a resourceful woman. She's an esteemed expert in the field of marital bliss and personal development for women. With over a decade of hand-on experience, she has positively impacted the lives of over 10,000 women, guiding them towards achieving lasting happiness and fulfillment in their marriages by teaching them how to build and sustain a well-structured partnership. Dr. Timi, you're welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
This conversation is a very interesting one, if you agree with me. there has been these videos making the round for days now of a woman who said her money is her money, but her husband's money is their money. Like, she was asked how much she had. She said she had $30,000, and she was asked how much her husband had. She said her husband had $100,000 or so, and then she asked, how much do they have? She said they have $100,000. So she excluded her own money. And this is not new, because most of us in our homes, we tend to do some of these things. You know, we tend to hide our money somehow from our partners. So I hope by the end of this discussion today, we would learn how to open up freely when it comes to discussing finances in our relationships. So Dr. Timi, you're welcome to the show once again. So I would like to know, what's your take on this simple story that I've just given on how women try to hide their money in relationships? Have you had such an experience?
So when you say when women try to hide their money in relationship, it's actually across genders.
Okay.
So this particular story is highlighting on a woman, but there are cases where it's the man that tries to hide his money. So it's not something that's just a particular gender that is at fault. Yes, we know that majority has to do with women, but it doesn't cut across board. Now, one of the things you should understand when you see a woman speak like that is because we have cultural leanings that would already tell the man that he's the provider. Culturally, even with our religion, men have been given this responsibility of providing. And especially in an African society, when a young child is being groomed, the boy is being groomed to provide for his family, the girl is being groomed to take care of her home, that she would have a husband that will provide for her. Do you understand? That's what she has been told over the years. So as an adult, when you come and change these scriptures, like, what do you mean? Because there are certain expectations that they expect from the wife. And even before the woman even begins to have a conversation, the next thing they will say is your husband is providing for you. So now there are people that do not even care what the reality is on ground. All they know is that the man is supposed to provide. So since you're providing and you expect certain services as the provider, they are expected that they will be taken care of. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so
I
it's
do.
Not something that has to do with, oh, look, why is this woman doing this? We must go to the root of it. Why do people even think this way? It's because of societal, cultural, and religious conditioning that people have had over the years. So we would have to now ask ourselves, does it reflect our present day reality? Because in those days where this was, you know, what was expected, it was expected that the woman would be at home, take care of her home, then the husband goes out, source for funds and all that. But that is not our reality. Now, both of you are anchoring this program, and you expect that by the end of the month you get your salary. I do not know if you're married. If you're married, it's expected by your spouse that you would contribute to the upkeep. Do you understand? And there are certain concessions you also expect you would get. These are conversations every couple must have. One mistake people make is that they make their marital reality generalistic. The marriage is between a man and his wife. It is not 10 men and 10 women. So there's nobody's doing a conference call when it has to do with how are you managing your financial resources as a family unit.
All right, let me just add to let me just have a follow-up question on this. What you've said, I don't know, why is it important for financial communication in a relationship?
Financial communication is very important, and even before we zone it into financial communication, effective communication is very, very, very important.
Okay.
The Bible says, can two work together except they agree? The agreement is communication. It is communication that bets the agreement. So for any partnership, any marriage, any relationship, any coming together of any sort between two human beings, there must be communication, effective communication. And you communicate about every and anything. There's sexual communication, there's communication that has to do with self-care, there's communication that has to do with your spirituality, there's financial communication. A lot of times people shy away from having financial communication. They just assume that it will work out, it will come out. This is why a lot of people feel very angry, hurt in their marriages, because they never had communication. Some people will get married without even knowing how much, their spouse is in. You just see the person has certain things and you assume he has money, or she does a certain kind of job, she has money. What is the money? Is she a contract staff? Is she the owner of the business? Is she being paid regularly? Is she being paid weekly? What is the plan? These are conversations we must have, because a lot of times there are lots of squabbles that take place in marriage because of miscommunication when it has to do with finances. For instance, if a young girl that grows up in a home and all she sees growing up was her dad was providing all their financial needs and her mom was taking care of the household, she didn't see her mother, contribute financially. And she gets married to a man who in his own household where he was growing up, his dad and his mom were contributing, to the household. And these people fell in love and they didn't have this communication. It just goes that naturally this man, when he marries this woman, would expect that as he's bringing money, she's bringing money. That is all he has known all his life. That is how he believes that marriage works. It also goes that she would expect that whatever money she has is her own, her husband will now take charge. Now, if they do not have communication resolving this, understanding it, and creating a clear framework what they want for their own home, there will be crisis. Because when he discovers that she has money and she's not contributing, his interpretation will be she's stingy, she's wicked, she's greedy. Her own interpretation when he asks her for money was that he's lazy, he's not responsible. But you can see that if you look at it individually, it's not, they're not being honest. But you cannot fault any of them. You cannot say the lady is wrong, and you can't say the man is wrong. Yeah. That is why financial communication is very, very essential in every marriage.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor.
So, Doctor, beyond financial communication, like you try to establish, communication is key. And I deduce from what you've said, this is a personal journey. So what's good for family A may not be good for family B. You actually need both couples, husband and wife, must come together, know their past, know where they are coming from and where they are going to be able to redirect their paths financially. And having said that, I also understand that some people can be very difficult to establish a communication with. In such a case, what do you advise?
When you say somebody will be difficult to establish a communication with, so I'll behave like a typical Nigerian and ask with a question and say, how were they able to convince each other that they love each other? Convince each other to get married, convince each other to have children, convince each other to be in one house. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes, when it comes to communication, we now say, to finances, we now say they are difficult. We're not being honest. The truth is, a lot of times, we do not have enough information, sufficient information on how to handle conversations. Some of us are accusatory in our conversation. Some of us assume. And that's the place where you have mentors and you have coaches. It is not everything you assume that, okay, this is how it should work. For instance, if we're still following the storyline of the couple that had different lived realities when it has to do with finances, I need you to know that for each of them, what they know is their truth. So they are not wrong. So for you to have that conversation, you don't have a conversation with such a person by assuming. You don't have a conversation with such a person by just suggesting or saying that I believe that the way I was brought up is better than yours. No. You come with strong reasons, and both people must be empathetic to listen with the notion of crafting what works for their own home. A lot of times people don't know what works for their own home. People are more interested in what did B say works, what did C say works. For instance, somebody can ask, oh, how do you do when it has to do with finances? What do you do in your own home? And you give the person, you reel out, oh, this is what we do, this is what works for us, this is what works for us. But you do not localize it to your lived reality. For instance, if someone says that, oh, in a marriage, the husband and her, they collect their salaries together. Do you understand? Put it in the same purse and use the money together. Another person may not be able to do that because Probably she has a business. She's not an employee. She has a business. Another person may not be able to do that. Maybe even though she's married, she's responsible for the education and upbringing of our younger ones. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Life realities happen. So that is why you must always seek for somebody that is an expert that can help. Our major problem is that we don't like paying for knowledge. We like gambling with things.
Okay.
Gamble until
Wait,
you get
there's
into
a problem.
problem, dire situation, and that's when we ask for help.
All right, wait, doctor, sorry, please, let me just come in here. Since you're talking this way, I would like, because I know you know many of these strategies for effective communication when we talk of finances in a relationship. Could you please just tell us some of them? The best way to discuss financing or finances, money talk in a relationship. Are there
Money talk-
strategies?
Yeah, you were saying something.
Yes, I'm asking if there are strategies for effective communication when it comes to financial discussion in a relationship.
Absolutely. The strategies for effective communication are cross-board.
Okay.
First, you'd ask yourself, what do you want? What's the aim? What do you want to achieve from this conversation? What do you necessarily want? What, you know, a lot of times we go into conversations assuming. We assume your part is right, the part of your spouse is not right. So the spouse is, so you go into the conversation trying to convince. One of the strategies you should do is active listening. Active listening pretends that you listen to this person. The idea of us, a conversation is both people talking, right? Both people listening. But a lot of times when we say we have a conversation, we're not having a conversation, we're trying to dictate, we're trying to impose, we're trying to enshrine our own opinion. So the first thing is active listening. Listening to this person, understanding what they are saying, put yourself in their shoes, and that's the next strategy of being empathetic. When you're empathetic, you put yourself in the person's shoes to understand why the person thinks this way, why the person believes this way, why the person is seeing things this way. The third strategy is to use the I statement. What I statement does is that it removes the, you know, when you're having a conversation with somebody and the person says, you're accusing me, you are blaming me. When you use I statements, it removes that clause because it's showing that this is what I primarily think. This is what I thought. I'm not accusing you. The fourth strategy is to use we. We create a commonality. So what are we going to do? What do you think we should do when it has to do with our finances? What are the financial responsibilities we have? How do we break it? Do you think that we contribute our money into one purse and we now use it together? Do you think we should do 80-20? Do you think you see the we element? The we element shows that this is about both of us. I'm not trying to show that I have a superior opinion. I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to create what serves us, what is authentic to us. A lot of times when we have these conversations, we're trying to just migrate an idea we've seen, an idea we've heard, that we are not even very knowledgeable about, and impose it. The best strategies are strategies that are authentic to both of you. Understand that we are greatly influenced by our cultural inclinations, our upbringing, our religious belief, our circle of friends. We have all these influences. You must understand that they are important, they can be addressed, and with that, you fine-tune what works and aligns with both of you.
All right, doctor.
Do you understand, please?
Yeah, I do. We do.
Yeah, so having said this, you know, I'm worried that a lot of people try to, I see probably here couples who try to bring up this conversation and are not truthful to themselves, one, which you have actually pointed out. Truth is key, being truthful and being open. And I see people who don't want to talk about this. Some people have more than a stream of income and probably table one in their discussion. And some don't even say the exact amount they earn, you know. So while talking about this, if you are not being open and truthful, there will definitely be problems because you won't arrive at a particular you will not have a way forward, because what you're supposed to do is maybe come up with a budget that will help the family, help both of you. But when you're not truthful, you'll definitely have these lapses. So at this point, what do you suggest be done?
Now, there's something, whenever I work with my clients, there's something I warn against, guide against. You know, when we talk about marriage, especially when we talk about marriage in a public platform, we tend to just be generalistic. We tend to just look at the roses. We try to ignore the thorns. The truth is, there are people that, in their own marital reality, cannot be 100% truthful. I'll paint a scenario for you. If somebody, let's say a woman, she's married to her husband, and the husband is saying that, oh, she's not financially honest, she's not financially honest, and you speak to this woman, why are you not being financially honest? And she tells you that this man he's not financially responsible. Do you understand? Those sort of people that immediately there's money, all they think about doing it is blowing it up. So huge finances come into the home, and is thinking about the next electronic gadget to go and get, the next phone to go and get, while she's thinking that this money that is here, we don't know when next we're going to have money. So why don't we keep this money? It will sort out house rent, it will sort out children's school fees, it will sort out this. So immediately this person knows he wants to spend the money. Now, it would be stupid to tell such a woman that, no, you have to be 100% truthful, bring out all the money, when there's a track record that this person is not financially responsible. Do you understand? You see why I said that you must ensure that as you create a path, it is what is authentic and aligns with both of you. Some people do not have any ability, meaning they don't have a great relationship with money, they don't know how to make money. For such a person, when you put such responsibilities on them, you are bound to be disappointed. They could talk about money, they could sound big, they want to look wealthy and expensive, but they don't know how to make money. So for such a home, they must understand that these are the flaws. Now, understand that you can thrive, you can still enjoy, you can still blossom in the marriage in spite of the flaws. The flaws are not there to say, okay, there's no hope for this marriage. What the flaws does is say, we are human beings, we have our inadequacies. What do we do? What structure do we put in place to ensure that we thrive, we blossom in spite of these flaws that we may have? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, sure, we're together. So now another scenario. A husband who's working and doesn't bring his money, but takes 60% of the earnings of the wife, adds to what he earns, and then uses it for the family. And then when the wife has needs beyond the immediate family needs, probably extended family, friends, he refuses to give assistance. In such a situation, what would you advise the wife to do?
The wife should communicate. I mean, the fact that you're a wife means you're an adult. True or false? It means you're not a child. So why would an adult be submitting 60% of your earnings to somebody that you don't know how much the person earns? That you're not having a conversation with this person? There's nobody that is a slave in the marital dynamics. There's nobody that escorted anybody into the marriage. A marriage begins by, I like you, I love you, can we grow together, can we build together? So it is first and foremost a partnership. So the first problem that it portends with this scenario is that there is something wrong with the marriage. A lot of times when people talk about issues, they just highlight on a particular point. Oh, this is the part we just struggle with. No. For you to even be submitting 60% and not be able to even have a conversation means there's something inherently wrong with the structure of that marriage, long even before it has to do with finances. Because you should be able to have a communication to say, how much are you bringing? What are you sorting? And for the other extra things she has to do, what are the things she has to do? Some people take in extra responsibilities that are beyond them. Because if you speak to the man now, he could tell you that, the things she comes for and she says she wants that I don't want to give money for, might be she has just seen a new wig and she wants to buy it, but she bought 2 wigs last month. Do you understand? A lot of times people say these stories that attract emotions, but when you get to the nitty-gritties, that is when you see how financially irresponsible a lot of people can be. So the question is, What are the first question is, why is there a dichotomy? Why is there an unfair power play when it has to do with the money? Why is there no sincerity when it has to do with their finances? Was it agreed that, oh, you bring this and let me add to my own? What is your own? What is the percentage? What are we using it for? And the other 40% that is with her, what is she using it for? Is there an agreement on it? Or we're saying that, oh, you're an adult, so for the growth of our family, bring 60% and use your 40% for anything you want to do. And if you want to do anything with it, why is it that before the end of the month, you're coming to take part of the 60% both of you agreed that you're going to contribute, and you're bringing something that was not initially agreed that the money will be used for? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, we're together. Right. Don't also overrule the fact that the woman could be doing this because it said you have to submit. So she was doing her role, submitting to the husband, as the Bible says, and the marriage, So now, a lot of people are going through this problem because sometimes you oppose your husband when it has to do with finances. It looks as if you're opposing them. You're not submitting to the head of the family and institution. But like you rightly said, communication. And I said it earlier, it could be so difficult that people you engage or try to get talking to, and they don't listen. Yeah. At the end of the day, you don't come to a conclusion, and you probably still go ahead with this marriage. Remember, we're talking about an already existing institution here, and here you are, you're married. What are those ways? Because I think while we're talking, we should consider what should be done before, and if you're already in the marriage, how to handle a scenario like this.
All right, we'll give Doctor time to tend to that question, but let's go on a break first. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on ADBN TV for business information, latest happening, business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on ADBN TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report, bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Now here's some exciting news. ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social media and streaming platforms for exclusive news updates, captivating stories, and more. Join the ADBN community today via our various platforms on Avo TV app, ADBN channel 121, Niger TV app, ADBN TV, Limex World TV app, ADBN TV. Get the latest news straight to your phone. Join our WhatsApp channel. Just search for ADBN TV and hit the follow button. Turn on your notification to stay updated and never miss any part of the experience. Stay in the conversation with us across our social media handles on X at ADBN_TV, Instagram at ADBN_TV, Facebook ADBN TV, YouTube ADBN TV_NG, and keep visiting our website on www.adbntv.com. Watch us live anytime, anywhere. ADBN TV, a part of you.
All right, thanks for being there. So we're still discussing money matters in relationships, and I know this one, Eddie likes this one. You know, well, we've seen scenarios of women who will say they don't want to know their husband's income so that their husband will not try to know theirs. I have a friend like that who said whatever the husband is earning, that's his problem. She doesn't want to know, and so he should not be interested in what she's earning. And this is how they've been living their life for years now. So I don't know how they manage, right? I don't even bother to ask her. She just said this and I let it be. So just like the doctor said, different strokes for different folks. So this has been working for them. That's just it. All right, so but before we come to the doctor, let's take some few tweets from the socials to see what people are talking about money and the relationships. Okay, so we have this one here from Dave Ramsey, who said, wait until you are married to combine bank account or help pay off your significant other's debt. All right, until you say I do, your money belongs to you. Once you are married, combine your finances and make decisions together. And then this one from Andrew, he says, the person you marry is the biggest financial decision you will make. Marrying the right person can reduce your cost of living expenses, qualify you for more tax benefits, provide you better insurance, increase your income. The right spouse will make your life a lot better. And then this one from Daddy Mo, he said, financial compatibility is very necessary and healthy in your marriage. Your spending habits, your priorities, and your willingness and discipline to save money have to align. Okay.
Yeah, agreed on.
I think that's the much we can take. All right, so doctor, would you want to react to any of the tweets?
And also back to the question we're talking about.
Okay.
Just before the break.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I agree with the statement that the person you married is one of the biggest financial decisions you can ever make. That is very true. Because whoever you're married to can actually directly or indirectly affect your lived reality, financially and otherwise. So in this generation, people just date, and dating is based on where's the fancy place you took me to, what are the Instagram worthy pictures we take, what is the vibes of the relationship. That is why we're having so many challenges in marriages, because strangers are getting married to each other without having any foundation together. Now, to the question she asked earlier on, I begin by saying that one of the most abused words when it has to do with marriage is submission. Because a lot of people that would say they practice submission do not even know exactly what it means. What does it mean to submit? A lot of people, the idea of submission is slavery, servanthood, silence, turning off your brain, being non-existent. That's not true. So you're an employee. So let me make it very practical, something that you can appreciate. You're an employee. The organization you're employed to has rules and regulations. It has vision. It has a mission. It has things it wants to achieve in the media space. And what you do every day when you show up is that as an employee, you're contributing your quota to the advancement and achievement of those dreams. True or false?
True.
True. So you're submitting to the idea and the ideals of the organization. But doing that does not demean you. Doing that does not mean that you become silenced. Doing that doesn't mean that if there's something wrong, you cannot suggest or you can't have a conversation. In fact, your conversation is even welcome because it makes it get better. So a lot of women that say they are practicing submission do not even have an inkling of what submission is. A lot of men that say, oh, they need a submissive wife, do not even have an inkling of what submission really means. Because, see, let's look at a healthy relationship that dovetailed into marriage. You're having conversations, you're talking together, you're saying, I love you, you're spending time together. How come you get to a point where you can't talk about money? Now, your inability to talk about money means that you have a challenge in communicating. It is not that you have a challenge with financial communication, you have a challenge with communicating, because if you can communicate about anything, you can communicate about food, you can communicate about where you want to go for vacation, you can communicate about your faith, you can communicate about self-care, you can communicate about money. A lot of people enter this conversation bedeviled by the things they've heard. So there's a woman here who hasn't had the conversation at all with her husband, and she's amongst 10 other women that have told her that men are so difficult. Oh, this, when I had this, when I had. So she goes into the conversation trembling, Forgetting that this person you're calling difficult, this person you're saying, oh, this person is so hard to talk to, is the one you call your lover. Maybe you should interchange the name of calling husband and calling head of home and calling lover. Maybe that's how you appreciate that the person you're talking to is not a devil. Because I mean, I baffle a lot of times when I speak to women and they're like, oh, you don't know them. What is a narcissist? And so ask, how did you go and choose a narcissist? Because this is your choice. Now, do not forget that in the course of having relationship with people, there are times we make mistakes, there are times they make mistakes, but we heal, do you understand, and get to the right path. So now you're already in the marriage where you see that both of you are not efficiently communicating. What are the things you need to do? You highlight that there is a problem.
All right.
When is the best time your spouse enjoys talking? For instance, let's say that I'm in the middle of this conversation, and let's say I'm a man. I'm in the middle of this conversation. I'm on air. I'm having this interview, and that is the time you come and say you want us to talk about money. I may not give you my 100% attention. I may say, oh, I'm very busy, and as though it will be like I'm shutting you out. You must know how to speak to the person you're having this conversation with. What works for the person? How does this person listen? One gift everybody, husbands and wives, should give themselves is the gift of knowing your spouse. A lot of times we're too interested in knowing things about other people. The one person that we've given our shared living reality with, we don't take time to know them.
That's a strong one there. But doctor, I've heard someone talk about financial intimacy. I really want to know, what exactly is financial intimacy, and how can couples cultivate this method or a process?
Financial intimacy is cultivated by sincerity, by trust, by understanding, by ability to learn and unlearn, by ability to create a framework that works. There's a challenge I began this year. It started from last year. I've been teaching women. I've taught thousands of women. And that challenge is structuring your marriage for bliss. What structuring your marriage for bliss does is, I teach women how to create structures in their marriage that enables the marriage to function healthy. Because have you discovered that in other sectors of our life, our education, our job, everything, we have a structure of how things should, what we put in, what we expect. When it comes to marriage, we're not intentional. We just assume it will work out. So financial intimacy is, we are married. We want to talk about our financial blueprint. What do you want to achieve in the next 10 years? What do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? What do you want to achieve in the next 2 years? How much are you earning now? Do you have other streams of inflow? What are the things that are taking our money? What are the things we will not do? For instance, a couple might say in 2025, they want to increase their financial intimacy by cutting out loopholes of, they reduce the number of times they eat out. Do you understand? There are people that say eating out is cheaper, but that's an argument for another day. For example purposes, somebody says, want to cut out the number of times we eat out. I want to cut out the number of times I go to the salon to make my hair, because I discovered that whenever I make my hair, it doesn't last up to 2 weeks. So right now I prefer to use wigs. Or what are you doing? We're doing lifestyle changes. Do you understand? Someone is saying that, I don't think that we should be paying for some subscription. There are certain subscriptions that just go on your phone. The other day I discovered I was just getting debited, and I was debited for premium packages I paid on apps that I've even forgotten to use. And you say, I'm going to go off all these apps because we want to save money. Financial intimacy could be a couple that have, a project. They want to build the house and say, okay, I remember I once had a couple that said, because they're building their house for, I think, was it for 2.5 years, they didn't buy any new clothes. The wife didn't get any new clothes. The husband didn't get any new clothes. Now, that being said, if they have an event where possibly, because Ashobi is part of our culture, and they need to buy Ashobi, both of them have already decided that we're not buying. Nobody is going behind to go and do something. Both of them have said, okay, this is, if we want to do, maybe we want to assist family members, this is how much we are giving. Other than that, we are not doing. This is how much we're using for our children's school fees. This is how much we're using for investment. This is how much we are saving. This is the plan. Financial intimacy is being transparent, authentic. going towards a goal. The majority reason why a lot of people struggle financially in marriage is that there is no common goal. It is month in, month out. This month you brought in your 60% and the person has used it. What are we now achieving it? Where are we going to? What's the big project? What's the capital project we want to do? What do we want to achieve? How much are we saving? There is no commonality of purpose. Financial intimacy is having commonality of purpose with your finances.
All right.
This is how much we're earning now. By the end of 2025, how much do we want to earn? What financial risks are we ready to take to see if it can boost up our finances? Or maybe if we get to a risk and maybe we have a downturn, we'll know that we took these decisions together. Do you understand?
Yeah. All right, Eddie.
Doctor, I wish we had time. We could talk more and more on this, but how time flies. So, but at least put us through, having been, it's your field, and having been into this for years. A lot of people are listening to us, watching us, and probably will watch afterwards. What should be the take home when it has to do with finances in marriage?
First take home when it has to do with finances in marriage is that finances are very important. No love covers the importance of finances. It is not something you ignore. It's not something you pray about. It's not something you wish for. It's not something you like. I don't like talking about money. No, it's something you talk about. It's your future. It shapes your lived reality. It is something that you can review. A lot of couples do not change their financial strategies. What strategies are you using? When I got married, the first strategy we used was joining all our resources together 100%. As we evolved, we changed that strategy. We must use strategies that align with us individually. I'll give you an example. Someone is the first child of a family. Maybe she has responsibilities towards our siblings, and it's something both of you have spoken about and you've agreed upon, right? And you now tell that woman that, you see, your salary, you're earning 300,000 naira. You must bring 300,000 naira into the home front. I don't care what your parents have gone through in training you. I am not part of the plan that you're going to help your siblings. So at the end of the day, do not take any money. First 2 months, she might agree. Third month, her mother might call her and start crying. You know how I suffered and raised you, so you want to abandon us and all that. This is now where not being honest begins, because she starts thinking of how to hide money, how to want. If you have a partner, be honest, your financial struggles, your financial strength. And please do know that we are not all financially intelligent. There are people that are not financially intelligent, and it may be you or it could be your husband, and it is okay. The way we get knowledge in other areas, you can also get knowledge when it has to do with finances. There are financial coaches everywhere. They can teach you how to invest, how to manage your money. They can speak to you what to do to get better. When it has to do with money, money is not what you pretend doesn't exist. It exists. It can change your lived reality positively or negatively. So talk about it. Have a timeline. If you need to review your financial strategy every 6 months in your marriage, do it. It will help you greatly.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. But before we let you go, I know you've seen so many financial mistakes couples make. I would like you to take us through some of them, those patterns, those mistakes you see people or couples make when it comes to finances in the family. Can you just take us through some of them?
Number one mistake couples make when it has to do with finances in the family is ignoring that financial talks are important. Just living life, just people they just go months in, months out. You don't have any financial meetings between both of you. You must have financial meetings. You must talk about your finances. Finances are a huge part. Don't ignore it. Talk about it. You don't know how to talk about it. It feels unpalatable to talk about it. The more you talk about it, the better you become. The next financial mistake people make is living above their income. You're putting your children in schools where you know that you will not be able to pay the school fees regularly. You're choosing to stay in an area where you know that you are not comfortable paying the rent, so you have to go and take loan. A lot of times why people are financially depressed is that you're taking up responsibilities that are way above your income bracket. Please be financially honest to each other. I know a couple of years ago, I saw a couple that got married, and the man assumed the lady had plenty money. The lady also assumed that he had plenty money, only for both of them to get married and discover they were two broke people, and they were not arguing against each other. People are not being financially honest. Do not assume. You see somebody using a big car, somebody saying in one eyebrow area of the society, doesn't mean the person has money. And please stop living a false life. People feel pressured unnecessarily, especially due to social media. They want to use gadgets they cannot afford. That is why they go and buy and pay small. Why? Try to stay within the financial bandwidth that you have. Plan, and you'll be amazed how fast you will grow. Also, something else that I just remembered is that couples do not differentiate between recurring expenses and capital expenses. You know, when the governor goes to give the budget annually, you hear them say they are recurring expenditure and capital expenditure. Even in our homes, amongst couples, we have that. What are your recurring expenditure? Your house upkeep, the things you buy, the tomato, the pepper, the soap, the garri, the rice. Everything cannot go for recurring expenditure. If it's always going for recurring expenditure, you will stay stuck. What are your capital expenditure? Do you want to buy land? How long do you want to take to save for the land? Are you going to do a contribution? What are you going to do to ensure that you get that money and you buy the land? You know that you have a capital project you want to go. When you sit down, see, when a couple sit down and discuss their finances, they will grow faster. It's a proven practice. You will go faster, you would enjoy your marriage because you're financially intimate and financially sincere. Please do not forget, be honest with yourself about where your spouse is financially. If it's a man that you're listening to me and you know that your wife is financially irresponsible, she spends money anyhow, you don't carry money and give that woman to hold. When she spends it, you now say, oh, I listened to one program. They say be financially intimate. And you're giving somebody that is not financially responsible. And it's vice versa. Do you understand?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was nice talking with you, and
Yeah.
that's very insightful, and I think we'll have a part 2.
Yeah,
there's so much
exactly.
to talk about.
Yes.
Thank you for your
You know,
time.
our part 2, I would like us to think about how we're going to bring up our children in this line, because I think we have to start from the scratch. You know, you can't begin to train adults on how to live a different kind of life, different from what they've been brought up to see or to face. So how do we inculcate this habit of, you know, being sincere or being financially capable, you know, among our children, so that when they grow, they don't become a nuisance to their partners and all that. But anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Timi-Wood. We'll be glad to have you again some other time. I hope you will come.
Thanks for having me.
Because I know it took a long time to get you to come to this show. All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, Adi, I know you've learned.
Yeah, we have learned.
We have learned.
Yeah, you know, on a lighter note, I got a chat that said, a man who gives money and a man who gives gifts, which one would you prefer? And guess what the response was? Someone said, don't get it complicated. If you didn't have money, you won't get gifts. So
that's true.
Yeah.
You know, I begin to rack my head which one I wanted.
Imagine that. You would have, if I had time, I would allow you fall for that. So,
thank you so much, viewers. That's the much we can take on the show today. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. From me and Evie, it's bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
For now.
Yeah. Go be financially responsible.
Exactly.